Breathe deeply, not automatically as you do every second, but consciously, feeling air enter your body, expanding your chest, moving through every cell with renewing energy. Now exhale slowly, with full awareness that each breath is a cycle connecting your existence to the entire universe. But here comes the crucial question. What happens when breathing stops? Not life's end, but that instant of pause between inhalation and exhalation, when everything suspends and something mysterious occurs. Since ancient times, great spiritual traditions have spoken of breath as a master key, a portal toward deeper dimensions of consciousness. In Hinduism and Buddhism, yogis have used breath to reach samadhi, an illuminated state where the mind dissolves into vastness of being. In ancient Taoist practices, controlling breath extended life and connected people with the cosmos's primordial energy. But the most fascinating aspect is that breath is not merely physical. It is the external manifestation of vital energy, known as prana in India, chi in China, and ruach in Hebrew traditions. Each time we inhale, we absorb more than oxygen. We take a subtle force connecting us with everything existing. Yet true changes do not occur in inhalation or exhalation. They occur in the pause. That tiny fraction of a second when breathing ceases, when everything seems still, is where transformation takes place. A space where time loses meaning, where the mind expands, where great mystics found the key to transcend the body and mind's limits. In this video, we will explore how breathing can be the vehicle to access elevated consciousness, how the pause between breaths hides secrets sages protected for centuries, and how you can leverage this to transform your energy and life. Because once breathing stops, even momentarily, change occurs. The breath is the only automatic function we can control voluntarily. This unique ability makes it the most powerful tool for transformation. When you take conscious control of breathing, you simultaneously control your nervous system, emotions, and energy field. Throughout history, warriors, mystics, monks, and healers understood this. Mastering breath meant mastering the mind. By mastering the mind, one could access states beyond ordinary perception. Respiration is not separate from spirituality. It is spirituality made tangible. Every conscious breath is a step toward awakening, toward reclaiming your power and connection with the infinite. Are you ready to discover the secret hidden in every pause, every moment of stillness? Breathing has always been much more than a simple biological function. For ancient civilizations, it was the invisible thread connecting the body with the soul, the bridge between material existence and subtle planes of consciousness. From humanity's first records, sages, shamans, and mystics explored breath's hidden power, discovering that its control could lead to spiritual awakening and healing. In ancient Vedic scriptures, pranayama, the art of breath control, is mentioned as a key discipline for achieving moksha, liberation of the soul. According to yogis, prana is vital energy flowing through subtle body channels called nadis. Here, the pause in breathing gains profound meaning. When inhalation and exhalation cease, prana concentrates, and the mind enters emptiness, where true being reveals itself. But this idea is not exclusive to Hinduism. In China's Taoist tradition, ancient masters developed qigong, combining breathing, movement, and intention to harmonize internal energy. They believed the pause in breathing was the point of greatest balance, an instant when qi could accumulate and strengthen the body, extending life. Even in Western mysticism, we find references to breathing as a link with the divine. In Kabbalah, Ruach, God's breath, infuses life into creation. In Christian tradition, monks of Mount Athos practiced heart prayer, synchronizing breath with sacred mantras, entering ecstatic states. But if there is one concept all these traditions share, it is that breathing does not merely sustain life, it transforms it. The pause between breaths is a sacred moment, a portal to deeper reality, where ego dissolves and only pure being remains. Today, modern science is discovering what sages knew millennia ago. Research on meditation and conscious breathing shows that slowing breath activates the parasympathetic nervous system, reducing stress and improving mental clarity. Neuroscience studies found that when breathing becomes slower and conscious, brain waves change to states of greater coherence, similar to deep meditation. If the most advanced civilizations considered breathing a portal to the divine, and modern science confirms its impact on mind and body, what prevents us from accessing its true power? It is time to go beyond automatic breathing and discover how we can use this knowledge to transform our energy and perception. Because when breathing stops, the journey toward the unknown truly begins. Now that we understand the crucial role of the pause in breathing and how different spiritual traditions have used it, we enter the most important part: practical application. How can we access this power in our daily lives? First, understand that breathing reflects our mental state. When anxious, we breathe fast and shallow. When calm, our breathing becomes slow and deep. But here is the key: it also works in reverse. If we learn to control breathing, we can modify our internal state at will. The most powerful technique to access the transformative pause is pranayama retention. This practice controls inhalation, exhalation, and especially the suspension of breath to access elevated states of consciousness. Exercise of Kumbhaka for energetic transformation. Find a quiet place. Sit comfortably with your spine straight. Close your eyes for concentration. Inhale deeply for 4 seconds. Imagine absorbing vital energy. Retain breath for 8 seconds. Visualize energy distributing throughout your body. Exhale slowly for 6 seconds. Let all tension dissolve. Pause after exhalation for 4 seconds. This is the key point. In this emptiness, concentrate on total suspension. There is no past or future, only the present moment. Repeat this cycle for 10 to 15 minutes. By practicing daily, you will notice subtle but powerful changes. The mind becomes clearer, thoughts lose their weight, and profound calm establishes itself in your life. When we retain breath after exhaling, the body enters controlled light hypoxia. This process activates adaptation mechanisms that strengthen the immune system, increase lung capacity, and generate mental quietness. This is why yogis consider the pause after exhalation most powerful. In that instant, all mental activity stops, and we experience a glimpse of infinity. It is the portal between body and pure consciousness. Some advanced practitioners report perception expansion. The sense of self disappears, and profound connection with the universe is perceived. This resembles what meditators describe in advanced samadhi states. You do not need a Himalayan cave to benefit. Apply this anytime to transform your state. Practice before stressful situations, at awakening, or before sleep. The ancient masters affirmed that a habit consolidates after 40 days of constant practice. Dedicate just 15 minutes daily and observe how your energy and perception change. Until now, we have explored breathing's role in energetic transformation and how the pause, the moment between exhalation and the next inhalation, is a door towards superior states of consciousness. Now, let us deepen into the subtle effects this practice has on our perception, energy, and spiritual evolution. In all spiritual traditions, breathing has been considered a link between the material world and the energetic world. In Hindu tradition, prana is vital energy flowing through the body via subtle channels called nadis. In Taoist alchemy, this energy is known as qi, while in Western esoteric teachings, it is the divine breath animating existence. Breathing does not only transport oxygen, it also acts as a conduit for vital energy. When breathing slows and pauses lengthen, a space opens where consciousness can expand. Here is where real change occurs. Ancient sages affirmed that the number of breaths we take in our lifetime is predetermined. A mouse, breathing fast, lives few years. A tortoise breathing slowly with long pauses lives over a century. What would happen if we learned to breathe less, but more deeply? Mental state and breathing are intimately connected. Shallow breathing indicates dispersal, anxiety, or fear. When breathing becomes deep with natural pauses, the mind enters a meditative state. Esoteric traditions hold that the mind is like a lake. If the wind of breathing is agitated, the water's surface is turbulent. But when the wind calms and breathing becomes paused, water becomes crystalline, and we can look into the deepest parts of our consciousness. In Buddhist practice of anapanasati, mindful attention to breathing quiets the mind and achieves samadhi, meditative absorption. Scientific studies show that controlled breathing decreases amygdala activity, the brain's fear center, and activates the prefrontal cortex, responsible for clarity and decision-making. If you observe carefully, you will notice a moment in breathing where the body enters absolute quietness, the pause after exhalation. In that instant, there is emptiness, a space where the mind dissolves and perception amplifies. Yogis call it shunya, the cosmic void where ego disappears and only pure existence remains. This moment is most powerful because energy does not disperse. In exhalation, we release. In inhalation, we receive. But in the pause, we simply are. Here is where we access expanded consciousness and experience unity with the universe. In yoga tradition, samadhi is considered the pinnacle of spiritual experience. It is total fusion with existence, the moment when individual identity dissolves and only pure consciousness remains. One of the most revealing signs of someone who has reached samadhi is that their breathing stops naturally, not because it was forced, but because in that state it is unnecessary. Ancient texts mention great masters who could enter a state of total immobility for hours, days, or even weeks. They were not unconscious. On the contrary, they were more awake than ever, yet their body barely needed oxygen. In the Himalayas, there have been documented cases of yogis buried alive in samadhi and unearthed days later, showing no signs of deterioration. For modern science, this seems impossible, but for esoteric traditions, it proves the physical body is only a manifestation of something much deeper. Think about this. Each time you exhale completely and pause before inhaling again, you enter a brief instant of emptiness, a moment when everything stops, when there is no air entering or leaving, only immobility. Now imagine expanding that moment. lengthening it increasingly until it becomes a natural state. Energy no longer flows chaotically through the body, but condenses at absolute stability. This is where internal alchemy occurs, where Kundalini awakens and reality is experienced from a completely different dimension. In pranayama practice, there exists an advanced technique called kumbhaka, consisting of conscious breath retention after inhalation or exhalation. Masters affirmed that kumbhaka is the key to longevity, perception expansion, and access to superior consciousness. Why? Because when breathing stops, the mind also stops. Thought is directly linked to respiratory rhythm. An agitated mind reflects in fast, shallow breathing, while a calm mind generates slow, deep breathing. But when breathing stops completely and naturally, the mind enters absolute silence. Here, yogis affirm, the portal to eternity opens. In that moment, consciousness stops being trapped in time and space. It expands beyond the physical body and connects with something much greater. In many spiritual traditions, there is a point where there is no return. A moment when perception changes so radically that the old way of seeing reality no longer makes sense. This point is reached by those who master the pause between breaths. Because in that space of non-breathing, the deepest truth unveils. You are consciousness itself, unlimited and eternal. We have traveled a deep path, exploring the mysteries of breathing, vital energy, and connection with superior states of consciousness. Now we arrive at the final revelation. When breathing stops, the illusion of self dissolves, and consciousness awakens to its true nature. Since ancient times, great spiritual masters have left clues about this secret. In Vedic texts, in Buddhist teachings, in Taoist disciplines, all coincide on the same truth. Breathing is the frontier between the physical and the spiritual, between ego and infinity. We have been taught to breathe, but never to observe breathing. Most people live unaware that their breathing is uncontrolled, chaotic, reflecting their mind's agitation. But those who have learned to calm it, to expand the moments of pause between inhalation and exhalation, have found the key to illumination. There is a moment in practice where the body enters such profound quietness that it no longer needs to breathe the same way. Energy flows directly, without needing oxygen. The mind becomes a still mirror, reflecting reality as it is, without distortion. The ancients called this state the awakening of the true self. In that instant, time ceases to exist, thought stops, and only pure presence remains. It is the return to origin, the point where the individual and the universe are one. Now that you know this secret, the question is, will you leave it as a simple idea in your mind, or will you dare to experience it? The choice lies entirely with you. Everything you need is within you. Your breathing is the key. Begin with simple observation, deepen in practice, and discover for yourself what great masters have known for millennia. They did not keep this knowledge locked away. They left it accessible to all who truly seek it. This is not the end, but only the beginning. The transformation awaits you. The question is, are you ready to take the next step? Your breath is calling. Answer it. Transform it. Become it. For in every pause, in every moment of stillness between inhale and exhale, lies the secret to your awakening. The power has always been there, hidden in plain sight, waiting for you to finally notice it. The journey begins now, and the choice is yours alone. Will you take it?